Is there not like a harbour?
It's sort of nature's harbour.
Welcome to Wallis Island.
No.
Do you sell rice? My phone got wet.
We've got pasta.
Has to be rice, apparently.
Oh, you've got rice pudding, look.
Rice pudding definitely won't work.
Well, not with that attitude. No, it won't.
Hey, howdy, hey, awesome people of the internet, Wolfman407 here. So many years ago, a group of people that would have not been as well known as they are today. So comedian Tim Key, actor Tom Basden, and director James Griffiths worked on a little film, which I forget the name of. It's a short film, and it is called something Wallis Island. Yeah, just look it up and I'll put the name of it in the edit. But anyway, so it's a short film, and recently a remake of the film came out, and I call it a remake because it's pretty much following the same exact story with the same exact actors, but it adds some other characters and some other bits into the mix to make it a bit more feature length. And together with Universal and Focus Features, the three of them worked on this film. Now, the three of them. Now, I went to see this film with Clank Zoka because Clank Zoka likes Q&As, and he invited me and some friends to go to this Q&A. In the Q&A were the three guys. So Tim Key, Mr. Baston, and James Griffiths. Yeah, I keep having to rehearse in my head who the guys are. So Tim Key, Tom Baston, and James Griffiths. So yeah. They were there in the Q&A, and we went to see the film that they made called The Ballad of Wallis Island. So in the film, Tim Key plays this retired character who won the lottery or won a lot of money, and he's retired to the titular island, and decides to spend his money to get this musician played by Tom Basden to come out and play a gig for him. Tom Basden's character is on the belief that there will be a gig that will have less than 100 people, but as shenanigans transpire, turns out that is not the case at all, and shenanigans start to occur. Such shenanigans include Tim Key's character kind of not quite understanding the sort of boundaries that the musician that Tom Basden plays wants. So yeah, there's a lot of comedic stuff, and it's kind of like a buddy kind of comedy with some added sort of depth to it for good measure and so forth. It's a nice, lovely little film, a bit of a slice of life film, I guess you could call it. And it's kind of nice. It's kind of funny when there's like a running gag where the guys that do not live on the island go to the shop, and every time they go to the shop, the musician and his friends are trying to ask for certain products, but the shopkeeper has no idea what they're on about. So there was one thing they asked was rice, which obviously for those of you who don't know is often used as a way to dry phones and devices that have been in the water, but it's not yet. But I don't know if it's like a proven method of clearing it up. I once attempted to tell my ADHD friend that that's a way to dry up, but he did not listen. He decided to boil the voice and put the thing in there, and it's like, yeah, he's an idiot. Well, no, that's not fair. He's not an idiot. He does know a lot of things, but he's quite oblivious to a lot of things, and he's not. And sometimes he does have inner arguments with his brain and so forth. But he's otherwise a nice dude. Just sometimes needs some guidance, and yeah, because yeah. Enough about that. So there's a thing about rice. There's also something to do with Reese's. The peanut butter cup things. And the shopkeeper has no idea what she's trying to explain to her, and all this other stuff that happens as well. So money, there's lots of money thrown in the air. Well, not literally, but there's tennis played. There's some swimming. There's lots of water stuff. Obviously, lots of music and lots of sort of nice, pleasant kind of music. And all this time, this musician guy is trying to get off the island because he was promised a gig of less than 100 people, but of exactly 100 people, but he suddenly realizes it's actually less than 100, meaning that it's only Tim Key's character, and his ex from whatever, and his sort of ex partner, whatever, played by Carey Mulligan, comes into the fray with her hubby, I guess. I don't actually know. Which makes things a little bit complicated, but they start making music, and yeah, if you're used to buddy comedies where the obvious comic relief is trying to get along with this sort of reserved, reluctant, stubborn person, you're gonna get, it's kind of one of those films that is very formulaic, it does kind of follow that formula. I've seen a lot of them. A lot of them are pretty much rinse and repeat, and this one did kind of feel like rinse and repeat, but because it starred Tim Key, who I'm not as big of a fan of as Clank Zoka would be. He's a guy that did star in the first series Taskmaster, and is well known for his poetry and other things as well. And we did actually get to meet him and the other two people that I mentioned earlier, which was nice. He was the only one out of the three that actually acknowledged me and shook my hand. I don't know what that's all about. I guess the other two were just too distracted with something, or Clank Soak was too busy with them, because sometimes he gets so busy with meeting and greeting people that he kind of forgets stuff. And all of us being autistic, we were all very socially awkward, so it was quite difficult to actually get the attention of these three guys that we wanted selfies and so forth with. In the end, we got Mr. Baston's. Hanzoka was the only one that got a selfie with Mr. Baston, and the rest of us had selfies with the director, and I did have a photo with Tim Key. However, it was obstructed because Mr. Dan 1466, who came with us, decided he wanted to be in the photo and tried to get people out of his way and so forth. He is a bit rude and sometimes, and isn't aware of it. but yeah. So Ballad of Wallis Island, good film, and it was another good Q&A experience, and Mr. Dan 1466 did embarrass himself a bit by saying, "Right, here we go," and everyone can hear him and kind of stared at him, a bit embarrassing. But he is a loud person, so there you go. But I do he's a good friend though, to be fair. But anyway, Ballad of Wallis Island, and the short film that it is a remake of. I'm just gonna, because it's both exactly the same sort of story. Obviously, one's bigger and more expanded than the other. I'm gonna give both of them an 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 because it's a very formulaic story. And something I am used to seeing all too often, and to me, it doesn't really add anything new to the already very, very familiar formula of these buddy comedies, but it's very rare that I ever get to see like a British one, because usually I've been so used to buddy comedies that are American, and this is like the only one that I've seen so far that's British. Or actually no, maybe one of a few that's British, but it's still okay for what it is. And Tim Key is a funny man. Speaking of Tim Key, I do have to apologise for those of you that saw my Mickey 17 video. It's actually Tim Key that stars in it, not Tim Vaughn, who's a completely different comedian altogether. So I do apologise for that error, because I get too used to, because I get sometimes, if I see a person that has the same first name, I immediately assume that they're the same person, but no, it's not that at all. But yeah, so that is what I think about the Ballad of Wallis Island. So yeah, if you like buddy comedies and you like music or whatever, then this is your film. And if you've seen a film and or been to a Q&A featuring these three guys, I'd love to know what you think. So obviously, as always, leave it in the comments. But other than that, thank you so much for watching, and like, share, comment and subscribe if you can, please. Those of you new to my channel and are considering subscribing, I do vlogs like this where I do reviews, as I've done today, hauls, rants on live, top 10s, and all sorts of other things as well, usually around topics that and so forth that I'm particularly interested in. If you're into pop culture, it's pretty much mostly that, plus other things too. And if you are a gamer, I do gameplay videos as well, so straight up gameplay videos and let's play videos, sometimes either one singular video of one of those, or just a long playthrough of which is obviously like contains a series of videos. So yeah. So the next one, peace to you all. And I think a bit of an advice if you do go to a Q&A, if you are really wanting someone's selfie or someone to sign autographs, whatever, make sure you get that request in as soon as you can, and make sure you get attention as soon as you can. You know, try and overcome your social anxiety if you are socially awkward like me and my friends were, and you'll get there. And also when you're taking photos with these people, you know, be nice to each other and be nice to the person that you're getting selfies and so forth with, because it's not often that you get to meet all these famous people. And definitely make sure that you'll get to be in the photo. Nobody should ever hog the limelight, because that's not fair to people. Yeah, just a bit of friendly advice from a person with experience. And related to the film, I guess, just wear waterproof stuff next time you go across the ocean to an island, because obviously the people that went to this island were not prepared for that. So yeah. All right. Toodles.
That's rough, buddy.